seen people getting divorced within 2 days of marriage. Also, people who have lived into marriage for more than 30 years and then they decide to divorce.
Do you think prenup should be valid in India?
No.
No?
Because in India, the marriage is a very different concept.
Any other factors why most people are getting divorced?
And I think people are overeducated now. If a woman thinks I want a divorce, what should I do? She can just Google it without realizing she also has certain responsibilities. As a lawyer, if you ask me, my first suggestion would be, are you sure you want to get divorced? Because there's no going back.
Men might feel alienated or they would feel that the law doesn't favor them.
No, I do not think so. I'll tell you why.
Hello and welcome back to another episode where we sit down with experts to really unpack and decode the various aspects of love, relationships, dating and marriage. When we talk about marriage, most of us have dreamt about the wedding day, how we want a partner to be. We all kind of want to do it right. But the thing about doing it right is you need to know how it could go wrong. And to help us understand this better, we're so pleased to have with us lawyer Raymon Singh, who specializes in divorce and matrimonial affairs. Welcome, Raymon.
Hi, this is Raymon Singh. I'm a practicing advocate. I've been practicing before the Honorable Supreme Court, High Court.
When we talk about marriage, the worst case scenario that we have in our head is getting divorced.
Right.
And you've seen that worst case scenario play out in real life in ways we can't even imagine. Do you think giving marriage a chance is still worth it?
Yeah, of course. I do not think so. While talking about marriage, one should think about divorce because there are two different concepts. No one marries to get divorced. We marry because we are looking for a partner to share my emotional, financial, psychological, all sorts of needs to support each other in good and bad times.
But apparently it's also said that you divorce the same person you marry. So do you think there are red flags initially that we overlook because we are not thinking about divorce?
See, candidly, I'll talk about there are two things. One, you marry for love, and one, you marry because of societal pressure or the family pressure. So a lot of people just marry because they love a person. What are the insecurities, how they want to stabilize their life, their own set of aspirations, do they align together or not? These are certain red flags that they need to understand before marrying any person. And secondly, societal pressure. If one marries, they just marry because the family says it's too late. But at the time of marriage, there are certain other red flags also which are hidden. The gifts are inevitable, whether asked for or whether not asked for. We also need to keep a checkpoint. If someone asks me a particular gift, X car or a Y car will look good, a gift is a gift. But if the same is being demanded or being asked for in a certain fashion, that's a red flag.
Yeah, so straight no.
Not just to be a no, but that has to be addressed. That's the checkpoint you need to understand. And also you will see our society is not just progressing, it's regressing also. People are just displaying their wealth. If there are any kinds of demands, that's the checkpoint. Because tomorrow you will complain that something was demanded from me. Why did you not take a step up while the same thing was getting demanded? I think that's the biggest red flag.
So you're saying that if there's a communication gap, if you're marrying because of societal pressure, there are higher chances of you getting divorced. Are there any other factors, any other patterns that you've seen when it comes to reasons why most people are getting divorced?
Because they're not able to give each other the space. There's no transparency in their communication. For example, if I'm unwell, I need to see a doctor. I need not go to my friends and asking what medicine should I take. Similarly, in a relationship where a person is facing issues with his or her spouse, that person should go and speak to his or her spouse and address all the issues at that point in time. And in my personal opinion, one should not sleep over any fight. So both the parties should support in all the processes to each other and should be as transparent as they could be.
It's so interesting that one of the top reasons for divorce is first family and then second is finances.
In a sense, right, family and finances are one of the most leading issues because people start blaming that the spouse could not adjust with my family or the family pressure was too much. That is how we are separating. You marry a person, but you also marry a family.
Yeah.
That's the truth of society. Certain portion family needs to compromise, and certain portion the new spouse has to understand. But there has to be mutual respect. That's how the balance will be maintained at all points in time. Financial aspect is an issue because we are looking for something which other person has a different perspective about. That's what needs to be talked about. For example, if wife needs something and the husband says, this is beyond my budget, this is beyond my pocket, she should understand it. But that compromise shouldn't be for the lifetime. The husband should also be addressing the fact that the more transparency is there, the more smoother and easier the life would be.
But when you're going in an arranged marriage setup, like people often tell you that, okay, don't talk too much, don't reveal this about, don't maybe tell them how ambitious you are.
People do not talk about all the things because they fear that if I disclose or open all my cards, this might not work out. That's where the mistrust comes. Because suddenly you get a shock, oh, I did not know this.
Somewhere we're losing the true essence of marriage that lies in, obviously, partnership, compromise, service, compassion. I think all of these aspects are getting lost.
They are. And I think people are overeducated now. It's just easy to Google it. If a woman thinks I want a divorce, what should I do? She can just Google it, what all I can file or what are my rights, without realizing she also has certain responsibilities. Similarly with the man, I think that the internet that has made easier. As lawyer, if you ask me, if someone comes to ask for a divorce, my first suggestion would be, are you sure? Do you want to get divorced? Because there's no going back.
We look at marriage from the sense as, like, you know, it's the union of two families, it's solidification of your love to the partner. But another thing that people don't look at is it's also one of the most significant legal decision you make in your life, and maybe it requires a bit more thought than just going for love.
Because marriages in India is not a contract, it's an institution. It's the most secret relationship. I do not think so people who marry do even think once that what will be the legal implications.
Really? Is divorce like really, really tricky? What's the divorce process in India?
So divorce process in India, if people mutually decide to get divorced, they can just go to court, file a petition of a mutual divorce. And it's divided into two parts. There's a first motion and the second motion. They mutually file a first motion divorce. There's a 6 months cooling off period. The idea of cooling off period is there in the law itself, because law is not just to make you divorce. It gives you a chance to rethink about your decision, and then you go for the second motion divorce. This is something different from if I am ready for a divorce but the other spouse is not ready for a divorce. Then they need to fight for it. But the ethos is that the law also takes care of the fact that you need to rethink about it.
And do people rethink?
Yes, people do. I have seen people who have come for the first motion and they don't come for the second motion.
We know that the laws we have aren't neutral, and sometimes there could be this anxiety that men might feel alienated, or they would feel that the law doesn't favor them.
No, I do not think so. I'll tell you why. You may say that women has more protection under law because our society was recognizing women to be less competent, and men were more able-bodied, more stronger. That's why they were given lesser rights. But men are also equally protected. Now we do not see someone getting picked up in a FIR registered against the husband for dowry demand or something. The law recognizes that. The law has evolved. The court recognizes the fact that in the matrimonial cases, no one needs to be put in jail until unless something adversarial happens. It is getting involved. It is not just one-sided. If you think that there are certain fallacies, you need to also enforce your rights in court. Law recognizes it. You have everything available. It is not the case. Men have equal protection. It's only highlighted that X person got X many crores at alimony. No one highlights that alimony is as less as 50,000 rupees or maybe 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs. It is not the case that a person who is earning 50,000 rupees a month will be directed to give alimony maybe in crores or something. It is determined basis your financial status, basis your lifestyle. That's how it is determined. It is not the case that the earning wife will also be entitled to get money from her husband because she's getting divorced, or she's entitled to maintenance from her husband. The court takes care of all these factors.
Do you think a prenup should be valid in India?
No.
No?
Because in India, the marriage is a very different concept. It is not an investment from which you will reap some sort of benefits. Yes, you will get benefits. You'll have someone to take care of. Someone will be taking care of you for the lifetime. You will have some emotional support. And if you think that a contract is executed today, Do you think that contract will be enough to enforce all the rights tomorrow? Do you think they'll be enough to take care of it in future? So those contracts cannot be enforced in society like India.
If you could share like a divorce case that really stood out, something that was really out of the ordinary for you.
See, I'll tell you, after having some 8 years of experience and seeing all kinds of marriages, I do not think so they're any different. They're all same.
That's very interesting.
The principle is that they don't want to be together.
Okay.
Or they do not trust each other, or they have a temperamental difference, they have compatibility issues, one or the other reason. They have different thought processes. That's why they're getting divorced. So more or less, all divorces are same. Ultimately, two people are getting separated. Because I've seen people getting divorced within 2 days of marriage, they're separated and eventually they go for a divorce. And also people who have lived into marriage for more than 30 years, having adult children, and then they decide to divorce. So both the aspects shock me. In 2 days, if you realize that, no, I cannot be with this person, that's too early. You should give a person a chance since you have gotten into marriage. And similarly, if you're getting divorced after the longest period that you lived into a marriage, earlier, people used to save their marriage for the sake of their children. But today, only those children are making their parents divorce. They are making them speak up for themselves, for what they did not.
So many people have stayed in bad marriages over generations because of primarily societal pressure.
Yes. But societal pressure is not just one thing, the inherent fear also. Because people think that, what if I'm divorced? What will I do in my life? How will I be able to take this life forward all by myself? It's their inside fear also for which they do not talk about.
Which is interesting because also India is one of the countries that has the lowest divorce rates. But now, especially in urban areas, we see that the percentage of divorce is on the rise. We're seeing a lot of people getting divorced. Why do you think that is the case?
Because people have become impatient with time. Because one, they are aware about their rights for which they do not want to compromise. Secondly, they need their own space. They are not patient enough to give another person an opportunity. Not in just urban areas, divorces are also increasing in the other suburban areas of the country. Because earlier people were not talking about divorces. Now people are very open to talk about divorces. And the chances of rebound or reconciliation for a new partner have also increased. Earlier, a divorcee person would not find another person to marry. Now people are okay to give their life another chance to be with the right person. So that's one positive aspect that urban people are looking up to. But secondly, you marry a person as a partner whom you are looking to lead your life with.
If you would have to give one piece of advice to all the single people out there who are trying to look for a partner and hope for a successful marriage, what would it be?
I think everyone should get married. I've seen bad marriages. I've also seen happy marriages. I've seen the best marriages be with my family, my parents. I've seen them married for more than 30 years. And we should not get influenced because other people are getting divorced, so we should also lead to a divorce. I would be happy to learn from other person's mistake and not commit the same one. Despite being a lawyer who's been taking care of a lot of divorce matters, I do not have a perspective personally that one should not get married. I think one should get married and learn from other people. What are the do's and what are don'ts? One should consult the experts and as well as their own family members, their own near and dear ones.
Should they go to a divorce lawyer?
Oh, why not? Why not? You know what? If someone comes to me and I get them divorced, I tell them, if you are getting remarried, I should be invited to that marriage. I should see that person happy.
Yeah, and the stats say that almost like globally 86% of people who've been divorced do get married.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Like, people
Why
do
not?
believe in love.
People believe in love. They think that love can happen twice, thrice, so many times.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's still hope and we can still learn from our mistakes. I think this is a great point to end. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you really like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and do let us know in the comments if this allowed you to see marriage in a new light. We'll catch you next time. Till then, bye-bye.